Welcome to a new video. I hope you had an amazing day. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories, shall we? The first story is called, Are You Sure? A new project manager was assigned to our team, and this guy was an incredible piece of work. He was an older guy, who had never worked with server-side computers before. But he figured, since we were all young, he knew better. At some point, we were discussing how we weren't alerted of something because the output of the program went to the null device. In Unix, this is shorthand for, take the output and dump it into a black hole, never to be seen again. A lot of superfluous information is sent to the null device. Well, the project manager said he wanted everything to be saved. And moreover, he wanted to be emailed these logs so he could go over them and point out what we missed. In the meeting, we tried to explain that this was a bad idea. But this just made him certain that we were up to something and he was going to catch us at it. So, one of the guys changed how the null device worked. He made it an alias that mailed the project manager instead. Everything. Junk output, logs, you name it. This was changed on just 10 systems from over 40, but it was sending the project manager at least 10 to 12 emails a minute. We had to set up a separate server just to queue the mail and pass it out to him. Within a few hours, his mail quota was reached. He was filing them in another folder via a filter at first, but that didn't work for long. Now he couldn't even get his real mail. He called corporate IT first, who didn't know what was going on, but assumed he was downloading huge files. It took them over 3 days to figure out, hey, this guy is getting a ton of mail from the inside. So they contacted us, and we pointed out that he requested this. So they upped his quota. It was maxed out within 20 minutes. So they upped it again. And again. Finally, the project manager's machine crashed because his hard drive filled up. The mail was bouncing, of course, and when it did, it logged that as well. Eventually, the email server we were using to send him and just him mail crashed due to a lack of space. Then we changed the null device back because enough mail was queuing on that special server to send him 2 pieces of mail every second for up to a week. Well, the project manager thought we did that deliberately to hide what we were really doing, and he brought it up to our boss for reprimands. Our boss knew what the null device was used for. He smirked at us, and said, don't do that again, you guys. And then he explained to the project manager that his job was to manage projects, not tell the programmers how to do their actual job. This led to a huge fight, where the project manager went home early, sulking. Later, he was transferred to our offshore team and was later fired for openly complaining about him using racial slurs. The next story is called, Just Do Your Job. So I used to work in a government department that dealt with property taxes, and this is a story from my time there. One day, I got this call. Hello, how can I help? You idiots have been screwing me out of money for years. I just found out that I shouldn't be paying this. My renter should. Now, I want you to do your freaking job and give me my money back. Okay, sir. Certainly. I will have to ask you to mind your language though. I am happy to help you with that and understand your frustration, but I would appreciate if you could just talk to me in a more calm manner. I don't give a duck what you want. You owe me thousands. Give me my money. I was losing my patience. Not a problem. Let me just look up your details. That should be fine. All we require is a copy of your renter's agreement to change the name over and refund your money. Just change the name. He told me the actual renter's name. Sorry, sir, but I have to have a copy of the agreement on file in order to make the change. You can fax or email it if it's more convenient. It's not convenient. Just do your job and change the freaking name. Sir, I've asked you before about your language. I won't be able to change the name without a copy of the agreement. For duck's sake. Trying to get one of you government jerks to just do your job is impossible. I'll send you the agreement along with my complaint. And with that, he hangs up. I twitch my eyes and think, do my job? Okay. Sometime later, I received his renter's agreement along with his complaint letter, which got passed up the chain. My management issued him with a standard response of following the regulations and that it's a legal requirement, sorry for any inconvenience and so on. I took the agreement and went through it with a fine-tooth comb. I pored over every word of that document and I found even more than what I was looking for to help me to do my job. So I call him, hi, I'm calling from the government department. I received your renter's agreement. Finally. Now when am I getting my money back? Unfortunately, I've found a few issues with your agreement, which means that it's not legally binding. Under the regulations, we aren't allowed to change the name and can't refund your money." He screamed, "What? You've made handwritten adjustments to the document which aren't countersigned by you and the renter. The agreement states you are supposed to pay these taxes and the renter hasn't signed or dated this copy. This isn't enforceable here or in court." "What the heck? I want to speak to your boss." "Certainly. Please hold." My boss proceeded to have a 45-minute argument with the landlord and also refused to give him his money back based on what I found. My boss came over to me at the end of the call, flagged that guy as abusive and to reject any calls from him. "We'll only deal with him in writing and seal the account, so no one can refund it period retrospectively. His agreement is most likely fraudulent and certainly not binding." Good catch. Maybe next time, the landlord won't be so insistent on people doing their job. The third story is called, "We Don't Need Them for Another 4 Months." This one just popped into my head yesterday but is from 2013. Back then, I was working on one of the bigger pipeline projects in Australia. I don't want to say the companies involved, but most people in the industry, especially the people that worked on it, would know it when I say the nickname for it was "Mountains of Cash Just Vanish." My job was to place orders for consumables. I would place an average of somewhere around $1 million Australian dollars of orders every 4 weeks, so not a huge amount in the grand scheme of the several billion-dollar job, but a decent amount. The process was that I would fill out a request for materials form and have it signed off by the project manager. He was a no-nonsense guy and he was aware that I knew what I was doing and trusted me. So he sort of let me go about my business and never really questioned anything that looked legit at first glance. When he was away, his underling would come in and fill in as deputy project manager. This guy would question every little thing to the point I would not buy anything that wasn't urgent just to not have to deal with him. Anyway, one of my jobs I was designated was to place the next order for welding rods. The amount that we would buy and the process of how we had to buy them involved us needing to buy from the same batch with all sorts of certificates for quality purposes. So we would have to buy them directly from the manufacturer in the United States. This process was quite time-consuming and was a 4-month process from filling out the request through to delivery of goods. The time came to kick off the order process. The project manager was away for several weeks for whatever reason and the deputy project manager was in his place. I fill out the materials request form and take it to him for approval. The order was for 14 tons of welding rods with a 7-figure total amount and the conversation went like this: "This is for the next batch of rods. Can you sign off on this so we can get the order on the next ship out of the States so it gets here on time?" Wow. That's way too much at this time. We don't need them for 4 months. Come back then. We need to order these now or it's going to cost $250,000 in air freight so they get here on time if we order them later. No, I won't sign this. Come back later. Okay, see you later. As I know how this was going to play out in 3 months, when the project manager gets back, I get straight back to my office and email him and say exactly what I said in his office to establish a paper trail to cover myself. I repeated this 2 times more until the cut-off for shipping. Sure enough, 3 months later, I have this to deal with the big boss from the main company and another boss that asked, "Where's the welding rods you were asked to order? This is unacceptable. Your negligence will hold up the entire job and costs us millions in downtime." I was told not to order them by the deputy project manager. Here is a copy of the emails I sent to him. He rejected my request for the materials in his office and he never replied to my requests for approval over email. I can order them now at an extra cost of $250,000 for air freight and they'll be here in around 10 days. But I need someone to okay it. Of course, the big boss didn't like this, but he said, "Yes, go ahead and order them air freight and bring me the paperwork to sign." Then he turned to the deputy project manager, "I'll be down to see you in 10 minutes. The last story is called, "Why Price Matching is Not Always the Best." A few years ago I was working for a certain retailer known for their blue and yellow color scheme. During this particular time, I was working in their computer department as part of the sales team. One morning, a gentleman came in looking for a new laptop. The gentleman was nice and he knew exactly what he wanted, which made for an easy sale for me. He was, however, very adamant in his questioning on whether or not we would price match Amazon. I explained that we would be able to so long as it was for the exact model and Amazon was the one selling it rather than a third party. I went on to grab the laptop and start ringing it up. At this point, the following conversation occurs: "You're going to price match this, right?" "Yes sir, absolutely. As long as it matches our guidelines." Alright, well, I want you to price match it, no matter what. I'll hold you to it. The gentleman has been very nice the entire time, but like many people I have dealt with, he is getting hung up on price matching. I don't mind. I completely understand and agree with trying to get the best price. I look up the laptop on Amazon and verify it is the correct model and that Amazon is the one selling it. Then I look at the price and notice it's currently $50 more than we were selling it for. So, as the gentleman asked, I overrode the price to make it $50 more expensive. The gentleman looks at the screen to see the price has increased. Why did the price go up? I price matched Amazon for you just like you asked. I show the gentleman the screen showing the more expensive price. He lets out a laugh and tells me I know what he meant. I laughed too and corrected the price before finishing the sale. Later on, my manager stopped by to let me know the gentleman had stopped on his way out to praise my sense of humor. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.